So today we're replacing my slow window motor. So I figured I'd make a pretty detailed video on it, and pretty much I'm gonna give you a little walkthrough, then I'll start taking the door apart and take you through all the steps to just replace your window motor. And we're gonna be using this motor right here. This is a AC Delco replacement, which is that. I pretty much take off all the labels of the AC Delco parts that I use, and I stick them to something. That way I know that I have it somewhere, just in case of reference or whatever. I should actually start a list on the Facebook page so I can have it as a file and people can access it, but that'll come with time. For now, here's how I'm doing it. So replacing it with this motor right here, which it's kind of funny. It has that right there, ACI. I don't even know if that's a brand or whatever, but yeah, so it comes with some hardware we're not going to use, and it comes with this, which we're not going to use. So I lied, I do need these. So anyways, these are the tools that we're going to use. And actually, hold on, there you go. That's the tools that we're going to use to embark through the whole thing. The procedures that I'm going to do applies to every single G-body. You might have different hardware holding up the upper door panel. On mine, my top panel comes out fairly easy because I have not put the clips that go on it. I bought these new from PUI, which are, but it's the best I can get, so I had to do it. I still have plans to make my own. I just gotta find the time. But anyway, so I'm gonna take off the upper door panel. I have two screws, one here, one there. The door lock knob, and yeah. So now that I've taken everything off of the upper door panel that holds that in place, I'm gonna take off these two right here that hold the armrest in place. Take that off, then there's two bolts behind that, and continue on. So yeah, this is a vapor barrier it made. Believe it or not, this actually helps a lot keeping humidity out of the car, especially since these upper door panels are cardboard. I want to make sure that there's no humidity going to them, so I made my own out of some really thick trash bags. So now I'm gonna try to carefully snap all of these off, remove the lower door panel, and this is the tool I'm gonna use. I just gotta get it around each one of the clips and pop them all off, and I need both of my hands to do this. So my luck would have it no other way. All the clips broke. Lucky for me, I have extras, because when I went to buy one of the kits, the Santorado kits, I realized that I was gonna be overpaying for some really cheap parts, and you can actually buy a box of 50 of these clips for, I don't know, I think it was $10. And yeah, so lucky for me, I got replacements. Now I have to gracefully take off this vapor barrier and remove the motor. So that's as far as I need to go. Now thankfully the bolts that I need to take out, if you can see them there, they're somewhat easily accessible. Somewhat, not very. So this is the tool I'm gonna use. It's pretty much just a 1/4 inch that swivels. But yeah, so I'm gonna loosen up all of these. Pray that the front side doesn't slip until they're loose. That way I can just finish them off by hand and take them off. Let's see if I can set up the camera right here and go from there. So the old motor's out, as you can see. It actually looks fairly new. So anyways, I'm just gonna get it back in there and hang it. I will use the new hardware and pretty much slap it on, plug it up, and seal all this back up. Put a big glob of grease on the gear, on the nose of the gear in particular, because that rides against the bracket that's in there. Which brings me to another thing. You can actually drill a hole here and take this, so you can take these two bolts off, and I think there's another one up here, and you can take off the whole bracket off of the regulator itself. But I find this a little easier. I mean, I don't know, that's a call that you need to make if you feel like drilling holes in your door. I mean, I already drilled a gigantic hole for the speaker, but whatever. So I figured that I'd let you know there's another way, which might be easier if you don't feel like messing with the little screws. But as you saw, I did pretty easy work out of them with the basic tools. And the saving grace of this whole deal is that when they install these, the replacements at least, because the factory ones come with rivets, they have these I forget what they're called, whatever washers that get stuck to the metal. So when you go loosen it, they stay, so you can just mess with the back, and then once you cinch them in by hand, it works the same way. They hold and you can get them tight enough. But yeah, so grease on the nose, because that's what all of this rides on, and actually puts a bit of pressure on there. I guess it helps hold it together against the big gear for the window. But yeah, so center this in and then just clock it until the holes align, so you can put your bolts in, and like I said, revert the steps. So before I start sealing this up, I'm gonna test it a little bit. My hands are all greasy, so I don't feel like taking that off and getting all dirty, but pretty much. And let's see, there we go. Much better. So anyways, don't forget to install whatever crap your door has on it, to have the vapor barrier back on, to put new clips, because every single one of them broke. But yeah, so that's kind of a good side note. Have extra clips before you attempt to remove your door. As you saw, I even tried it with the proper tool, and they still didn't want to let go. And I mean, that's a good thing at the same time though, because you want these to be tight so they don't rattle. Anyways, so yeah, putting this back on and tying it up. So I got all of them snapped in. I put the bolts on loose, and here's the part where you want to check that there's a little bit of an edge from the metal here, and same over here, or about centered on the door. That way when you go shut your door, this doesn't get crushed there or on the back against this. So yeah. Another pointer here, when you go put this back on, you see that there, that has to go in that hole. lot of times it happens that people just put it on there and crush that in, and the armrest is not centered right, or like it'll sit kind of like that, when if you push it down and slide it in, it actually sits flush. Another good upgrade that I can point out here is that I have nut certs in here, and what happens is that on the factory setup, it's just a hole in the sheet metal, and over time the pull strap start pulling out the bolts or strip the sheet metal. So what I did is that I drilled them bigger, put some nut certs in there, 1/4-20 bolts, stainless, and yeah, now those are going to last forever, or until some passenger salvagely pulls on this door strap. I got the upper door panel on, and something else that makes it easier for you here, it's put the door lock or the door lock knob on, and then do the whole tucking it in part. I don't have these clips on here, so I can pull mine straight up and down, and since it's brand new, it doesn't bulge out or anything. It's still perfectly flat, and I don't plan on installing them either. This will allow you to play with it without it coming out of the hole, and it'll let you tuck it in nicely onto the lower door panel. So anyways, doors all buckled back up, window shuts, everything does what it's supposed to do, and it is a hell of a lot faster. I just realized I should have done like a comparison, because pretty much what the problem I was having is that the window went down just fine, but on the way up it would just take its time. Another thing I forgot to mention, but I ran an extra ground to the door, because what I figured out is corrosion builds up on the hinges, and the hinge is what it's grounding this whole apparatus here. I have a 12 gauge wire running from here through the loom and onto here to one of the bolts that is right in this area that holds the dash in place. And I figure that some of you may find that useful if you have that, where if you open the door or shut the door, the window actually works better than on the other position. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this helps any of you guys trying to do a window motor swap. All in all, this took about 30-45 minutes. Pretty straightforward. Make sure you have extra clips to put your door panels back on, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, hit that like button.